could able to make the application to be accessible even when it is offline. So this is a very, very big statement, guys. If I say that, boss, you could able to use one of the web page when you are not having internet connection, do you think it is possible? When I say that, boss, we have a web page which you could able to access it even when you are offline, do you think it is possible? No. But now application cache is one of the new feature which is being introduced from your HTML5, using which we can make an application to be accessible even when it is offline. Let's have a look on this. And this example, we may not see it practically, guys, because in order to make it practically, first of all, we need to have a live server, the actual server where we have deployed the changes, and I should be able to disconnect the internet. And once we disconnect the internet, the class is going to get disconnected. So to avoid that, I'll just make you theoretically how we do and how do we create the files and all. Now, let us take a practical example that I want to create one of the application which is called as ebooks.com. Okay, ebooks.com is one of the web page which is used to, we have created this web page. Under this, the very first thing what user will do is he will go to this welcome, or he will go for the login page. He will give his ID and password. He will be listing out the categories. Okay, what all the list of categories we'll be having? The categories like comic books you wanted, science books you wanted, mathematics you wanted, you will be going for this. And among the list of categories, we will be going with, after we choose the category, choose the one category, whatever you have, and explore list of all books and choose one book and start reading the book. Okay, so my requirement is I'll go with a login. Once I log in, I will get the list of all the categories, what all the categories you have. Once I'll be choosing the one category, I will be exploring the list of all the books. What all the books I'm having, I will be exploring on it. And I will be choosing one book among all the category. Then I will start reading the book from there. And how I'm going to read the book here? Through next and previous links. Okay, by clicking on the next link or by clicking on the previous link, I should able to load the books over there. I could able to see the page 1, page 2, page 3, etc. That is what I can load here. Now, after this guy, if needed, I can order physical book here. Physical book through payment. Okay, now I say logout. This is the set of features what I would like to provide inside a ebooks.com. Any questions? Everyone so clear? Now I say that ebooks.com login is happening. Before this, you need to understand one thing, guys. When I say amazon.in, when I am opening this web page called as amazon.in, you should be able to see some content on this page. Being a developer, what do you understand? Being a developer, what is happening on the background that you could able to see this web page? Being a developer, what do you understand that something, what happening at the background that you could able to see the content on the page? Come on. Is it not a piece of JavaScript code, a piece of HTML code, a set of CSS properties, those all getting executed? That is what your web page is. Agree or not? Now, when I say that I don't have an internet connection, could I able to access the amazon.in page? No. Why so? I couldn't able to go to the server. I couldn't able to get the HTML, CSS or JavaScript. That is the reason I can't load it. For example, I open this guy. Okay, this is the piece of JavaScript, HTML, CSS is there. I have a copy of this. I create a page and I paste this guy. I save this guy and I call it as local Amazon .html. I'm creating a local Amazon.html page. Now, if I open this guy within your default browser, could I able to load the Amazon page in my local? So what do you mean by this? So that is what happening, boss. Whenever you open your Amazon.com page, background simple HTML, CSS, JavaScript is running. And output is what you see. See here, now Amazon, I could able to run it in local also. Why so? I already have that code. Implies if you have the source code of any of the web page or the piece of HTML or the CSS or the JavaScript of the particular web page in your local, you should able to execute the web page even in your local without having an internet connection. Agree, everyone? Everyone? Okay. Now the next point what I have is come back to your web page. Now you understood being a developer, you know that any web page I see, I go open gmail.com, when I could able to log in, when I could able to explore the products, when I could able to compose a mail, anything what I'm doing, everything at the background, piece of HTML, CSS, JavaScript is getting executed, and that is execution of the content. You see the output on your browser. That is what your background basic thing happens, doesn't matter, irrelevant of whatever the web page you go for. Now I go here. If at all I have to log in, okay, in order to log in, what I need to do, if I open login.html, I get the source code of login page in my local. Under this, I give my ID and password. Once I click on login button, what is going to happen? Do I again go to the server? Because server is the one who will tell me that whether you are a valid user or not. Now, when I go to the server, I will take the ID password, I will validate it, and I'm going to respond back to you saying that you are a valid user or invalid user, right? Fine. Now, once I got the valid or non-valid, I'm going to list out all the categories. Now I say choose the one. Now, when I say explore the list of all the books, again, I will go to the server. I will say that user has chosen something called as science. Now, when I say science, I put a request to the server. Server will give me the list of all the books who are part of the science. Again, I could able to see it. Now, when I click on, I want to read one of the book. I click on one book. Now the book got loaded. Is it not, I say next and previous, is it not a piece of JavaScript code at the background? What all I have all the pages, 1 to 100 pages I have. Next button, I will hide the previous one. I will show this guy. Previous button, I will hide the previous one and I show this guy. That is what happens at the background. Yes or no? Now my requirement is, I want to provide one small advanced feature for the developer or user. For example, I'm the one who is using your web page. I go to ebooks.com. There is an internet connection to me. I go to ebooks.com. I loaded login page. I could able to list the categories. I could able to choose the one, and I have chosen the book which I want to read it. I am clicking on next and previous. I should able to see the pages are getting loaded. What if internet connection is down? When I am at the 5th page, internet connection is down. Okay. Now, when the internet connection is down, when I'm clicking on next, in general, what you will get that page not found error. Isn't it? Page not found, page not able to load, internet connection is down. That is what you're getting. What if I want to provide a feature to the user saying that even though there is no network connection, he clicks on next button, I should able to load him the next page. Is it not a benefit for the user? So being a user, when I could able to load the previous and next pages, even though I don't have the internet connection, I feel so happy. I feel like, wow, this web page is awesome that I could able to load the content even though I don't have the internet connection. That feature can be provided using your application cache. Okay, I'm not saying that I don't have complete internet connection. Now, please provide me an option that I could able to open ebooks.com. Not at all possible. What I'm saying is, once your web page is loaded, it is running. In between, you lost your internet connection. Still make him to continue to the next further things. That is what we call it as a application cache concept. Okay. Now, if at all, I will say that, boss, make him an option. User is opening the book. He is clicking on 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. When I'm on the 5th page, I lost my internet. HTML or CSS, you make a copy in the local machine itself. Instead of going for the internet, you make a copy in the local machine itself. So that even he clicks on the next, local, this local Amazon.com, do you think it is going for internet to fetch the content? No, I already have the HTML, CSS code executing. That is what you could see it. So if I could able to have the copy of JavaScript code or the CSS or the HTML or the images in my local, I don't need to go to the server. I will be loading in my machine itself. If I don't need to go to the server, I don't even need the internet connection. Are we clear? Understood the concept? What do you mean by application cache? App cache is the concept of making a web page partially to be accessible even you are offline. Okay, even though you are in offline mode, still you could able to partially access it. I'm not saying the complete web page will be accessible. Partially, some piece of content I could able to load it even without any internet connection. That is what we call it as application cache, which is being supported from your HTML5. Are we clear? Okay. Now let us go into this steps. What are the steps to be followed? Okay. The steps to be followed is, the first step is, if at all I want to make my web page to be accessible application, my web page to support the application cache, or my web page to provide a feature of offline access, first step what I'm going to do is create a separate file, which is separate file with extension dot app cache, which is recommended. It is not mandatory, it is recommended. I will say sample, something called as sample dot app cache. If you say that, I will say .txt, it's up to you, you can give it. But recommended to go with the .appcsche extension, so that anyone who looks into the file, they will automatically understand that it is a app cache part. Now, when I'm saving this, now what all the things you're going to work over here? Under this, we are going to have 3 blocks. One is cache management block. Under this, we have something called as network block. Under that, we have something called as fallback block here. Okay. Under an app cache file, we always have 3 blocks here. One is your cache management, one is your network, another is your fallback. Any questions? Okay. Now, under this cache management block, what all the things we are going to specify? Under this cache management block, we will be adding list of all the resources which should be forcefully cached. Okay. Under the cache management block, you are going to list out all the resources which need to be forcefully cached. When I say resource, can I say JavaScript file as a resource? Can I say HTML file as a resource? Can I say an image file as a resource? Can I say a CSS file as a resource? Yes. So you need to specify the list of all the resources which need to be forcefully cached. Cached in the sense, browser will take a copy of it. I don't go to the server if I need it. I will be looking into my local machine itself if I really need that file content. Okay. Under the network tab, we are going to specify list of all the resources which should never ever cache it, but for sure to be loaded from server. Okay. So here under the network tab, we are going to list out all the resources which should never ever cache it. At the same time, it has to be loaded from the server. Are we clear? And now under the fallback, I'm going to specify alternative page to be shown for user while accessing resource which need network connection while user is offline mode. Okay, I will tell you what actually these guys. Let me copy this. I'll paste it into your running notes. Okay, this is how I'm going to specify under an app cache file. For sure, we are going to specify 3 of the blocks. One is your cache management block, another is a network block, another is a fallback block. Under your cache management block, we are going to list out all the resources which need to be forcefully cached. For sure, it has to be cached, will be added under the cache management block. Okay. Example, I will say something called as books slash data slash asterisk or books list.js file. A JavaScript file which is under the books folder, which is under the data path, under the book list.js has to be forcefully cached. I will say images slash books slash asterisk.png. Any image which is ending with PNG under the folder called as books, under the folder called as images has to be forcefully cached. I will say some styles asterisk dot asterisk. Any of the file with any file name with any extension has to be forcefully cached. So you can specify list of all the resources which need to be forcefully cached under the particular web page. Okay. Now, what is going to happen whenever I open this index.html or main page.html? The first thing what it will does is, okay, do I have a file called as book? I mean, I will have this list here. What all the files to be cached? When I'm loading that file, if I have this file called as book list, have a copy of it in the local. So that second time I wanted, I don't go to the browser. I will be getting from the, sorry, I don't go to the server. I will be getting from my browser cache itself. Okay. In the same way, some images are there. Any image which is having a path called images slash book so and so, I will automatically make a copy of it. So I don't go need to server. I'll be getting it from my local cache itself. Okay, like this, you can list out all the files, list of all the resources which need to be forcefully cached into your local machine. Are we clear? Understood, everyone? Everyone? Okay. Now, under the network tab, what all the things you wanted? As I said you, for example, I go to the login page. User is not having internet connection. Do I need to make him allow? For the next thing, no boss, login is the main thing. For sure, you need to do that when there is a network connection. Implies a file called as login.js. Do I need to forcefully cache that guy? Not at all. Any resource which need for sure an network connection has to be pasted under the network tab. Okay, any resource, for sure I want to have the network connection, then you just simply add it under the network so that even by mistake also, I'm not going to cache that guy. Are we clear? In the same way, I can say, for example, there is a payment, something called as pages, something called as asterisk dot asterisk. Now user is clicking on payment option. Do you think payment option will go even when I'm on offline? Obviously, no. So I need for sure all those files should needed a network connection. Not even mistakenly, you cannot go with this without network connection. Are we clear? So this is how you could able to specify list of all the resources which it doesn't need an internet. I mean, which for sure need a network connection. Those things cannot be cached. Has to be added under the network tab. Are we clear? Okay. Access what do you mean by this fallback block? Fallback block is an alternative web page which has to be shown while using the while accessing the resources which need network connection while user is offline mode. Now let us take this scenario. I will say user is logging in. I have a network connection. I am going to list of all the categories. I have a network connection. I am choosing one category. Network connection is there. Exploring the list of all the books. Network connection is there. Choosing the book. I started reading the book. When I am reading the book, my network connection is gone and still my web page is loading because user providing an option to access even when you are offline. Super fine. I feel so happy. I click on next, and I feel like, boss, this book is very interesting. I want to have the physical copy of it. What I will do, on the right top, you'll have something called as buy option. I simply click on buy option. Then you will be getting a payment pop-up and all. When I am in offline, when I'm clicking on payment option, you are suddenly going to get a pop-up or the message saying that page not found. Yes. Now, being a user, am I not going to confuse? Being a user, what I will feel, boss, how come the web page is loading till now? It is super fine. But now when I'm clicking on payment, how come it is not working? Because I'm not a developer. If you are a developer, you know that web page, that payment option will only be done when you are internet connection, because payment option needed a server communication. But being an end user, do I know what do you mean by server, what do you mean by client, etc. and all? No. Now I'm going to get confused. How come this guy is accessible even when there is no network connection? All of a sudden, why it is showing like page not found? Instead of showing that page not found, can I show some custom web page saying that, boss, till now, whatever the resources you have loaded are needed, then those are like offline, that is fine. But now you are trying to load a web page which needed a network connection. Please try after some time with the network connection. If I show some this custom message instead of page not found, is it helpful for the user? Yes, that is what we could able to show it under the fallback block. So here what we are going to specify, any page, any content what user is asking, which is mentioned in the network file and the network is not there, then I'm going to say that I'm going to show the, say something called as a page which is custom page not found .html or JS file, whatever it is, I could able to show the custom HTML file. This is what you need to do under the app cache file. Are we clear? So app cache is the file under which we are going to specify list of all the resources which for sure needed a network connection. Which for sure which forcefully need to be cached, which for sure need a network connection, and what is the fallback file. When the user is asking for the file which is not available, what need to be shown? Those all things will be mentioned under the app cache file. Are we clear up to this? Everyone, online students? Okay. Now on the top, after creating the sample file, where you are going to include under your any of the web page. Say for example, this is ebooks.html. Under your HTML, there is an attribute, something called as manifest. Using your manifest attribute, I need to say sample.appcache file or any app cache file, whatever you have, that need to be added under the manifest attribute. Why only to the HTML tag? Why not to the body tag and all? Boss, before loading the HTML page itself, browser has to know which files to cache, which files to not cache, which file has to be shown on the fallback. Obviously, right? After the HTML tag only, we start including the link tag, images tag, etc. and all. So by the time, browser has to get the list of all the things. That is the reason. First thing what I need to mention is app cache file under the manifest attribute. Now the browser got the rules and regulation what need to be done. Based on that, I'm going to load the web page. This is what we call it as a app cache concept in your pages. Okay, let me show you some online examples. I'll say app cache manifest. Okay, if you see how they have created this, you see they have created a manifest under that example dot app cache file. They have created one app cache file. And how they have created this, you see cache manifest. Either you can say cache manifest or cache management. Under that, he is saying index.html should be forcefully cached, style.css should be cached, under images logo.png should be cached. So these all are the files which need to be cached. I'm going to say to the browser. After that, I'm going to say the network. What I mean to say, under cache, these all are the files which need to be cached. Other than that, asterisk, in the sense, other than that, everything else needed a network connection. Okay. And fallback, he's saying that static.html. One static.html page he is creating where he can say that boss page is not accessible because you need an internet connection. So this is what an example. See how they are creating cache manifest, so info files, fallback, and network. Okay. So this is what your application cache means. Concept of making a web page to be accessible. And again, here I'm not saying that the complete web page will be accessible. Partially, web page will be accessible. Not from the starting itself, I want to make it accessible offline. Not possible. Only partially it will be accessible. Are we clear? Everyone? Online students, hope everyone is good. Can you repeat about fallback block? Okay, so Raju, what I'm saying is fallback block is the page which will be automatically loaded when the user is trying to access a resource. Say, for example, he is accessing this login.js, but he needed a network connection, but he is offline. Instead of showing him the page not found, I will show him the custom page not found HTML. Am I clear? So that you can give some extra information, because in general, page not found is your page which is not shown by us, which will be shown by the browser, isn't it? Now, if I try to access that guy when I'm offline, instead of web page or browser showing the page not found, we can show our custom web page here. Okay. What's our next topic? Sorry. What was that? Navigator object. Okay. So till now, we have seen some predefined objects in our JavaScript, right? Document is one of the predefined objects. Window is one of the predefined object. JSON is one of the predefined object. There are some predefined objects what we have seen. From your HTML5, a new predefined objects which has been introduced, which we call it as navigator. Okay, navigator is one of the predefined objects which is being supported in your JavaScript from your HTML5. So what is the use of this navigator object? What all the information is available under the navigator object? The main intention of going with the navigator object is we could able to develop the web pages which are browser specific or operating system specific. Okay, so what do you mean by browser specific or operating system specific? I want to say alert, thanks for using Chrome browser. Enjoy it. Okay, this is the message which I want to show to the user. At the same time, I will say, please switch to Chrome browser for faster experience. Okay, this is the simple two pop-ups which I would like to add within my web page. Okay, now the user is coming to this guy. When I'm running this guy on my Chrome, it is saying that, boss, thanks for using the Chrome browser. Enjoy it. Super fine. But is it not also saying me to switch to the Chrome browser? So what I'm saying is, I want to add some intelligence to my content, saying that my content should able to understand whether it is a Chrome browser or it's not a Chrome browser. So how you're going to do that? Do you think I will ask the user, boss, can you please tell me which browser you're using? No, I can't use that. You would have seen in most of the web pages, guys, they say that, boss, please plug in your earphones for a better experience. Have you ever seen that whenever you're trying to listen any music, they say that, boss, please put on your plugin so that you for a better music. But if you plug in it, it doesn't show that pop-up. How come? Why it is saying? In the same way, some of the browsers will say that, they say that, boss, please switch to the Chrome browser for faster experience. But if it is Chrome, they don't show any of the messages. So how come the system or how come the web page could able to understand that what browser user is using, what operating system user is using, what plugins he is using, what hardware he has connected? How come the web page is understanding? They never even ask you, do you see that any web page which is telling that, can you tell me which browser you are using? No, they are automatically reading it from the background. How come they are doing it? That is where navigator object is helpful. Navigator is one of the predefined object, nothing to do with your existing DOM structure, nothing. The main intention of going with the navigator object is it will provide the extra information regarding the current system, operating system. At the same time, what is the browser you're using, which browser you're using, which languages it supports, what are the hardware devices you have connected, what are the list of plugins you have installed. Each and every other extra information of the current system will be available under the navigator object. Okay, now if I console this guy, I say console.log navigator. See, I'm not creating it. I'm making use of the existing predefined one. If I open this guy, okay, if I inspect this guy, go to console, I see this is the navigator object. If I expand this guy, do you see list of all the information which is available? Now you may ask me a question, boss, you are opening in the Chrome and your app code name is coming as Mozilla and Netscape. Why so? Do you know what is the first browser which has come in the universe? Netscape Navigator. Okay, as people have taken the license from the Netscape Navigator, so they have to for sure follow the app code name and the app name as on the top. You will be having the extra information. You see here on the top, the browser what you're using is the Chrome browser, which is using the version called as 113. You know, other things you would have seen in most of the web pages. They say that when you open that web page, they say that please update your browser. It is not into the latest. Please update it, download and update it. And if you download and latest update, that doesn't show the message. Implies that guy automatically understanding which version you are using. How come? It is under the navigator object. See, under the navigator object, it automatically says that current system is using the Chrome browser with a version called as 113. In the same way, what is the operating system? Windows NT 10 is going to use it. So every other information is available. Along with what are the Bluetooth devices which are connected to this? Right now, no. What is the network connection type? See, the network connection type, what we are using is 4G type. Okay, like this, every other information is available. Geolocation, we'll talk about this. There is something called what are the languages the current browser will support? English. In the same way, plugins. The plugins is very important. You see, when I open this plugins part, you see what all the list of plugins we have installed here. See, the first one is portable document format, which is your PDF readable. In the same way, Chrome PDF viewer. There is something called as Microsoft Edge. There is something called as WebKit Built-in. So like this, these all are the extra plugins what they have installed. See, Chrome PDF viewer, Chromium PDF viewer, Microsoft Edge PDF viewer, WebKit Built-in PDF. So like this, these are the 5 plugins they have already installed in your machine. And you install another extension, automatically you will get the list of all the things. So what is the use of this plugins? Say, for example, I have created one of the plugin. Okay, for listening some songs. Inside your Chrome, I have created a plugin for listening the songs. Whenever user opens the browser, I want to show him a suggestion. Hey boss, can you please use this plugin so that you can listen the songs? But if he has already installed it, I should not show him. Then what should I know? I should know that what all the list of plugins he has already installed. At the same time, I should not ask the user saying that, tell me what all the list of plugins you have added, what is the operating system you're using, what is the browser you're using, which version of the browser you're using. Without putting a question to the user, I could able to get all this information using the navigator object. Am I clear? So see, so these all are the informations which are available. In the same way, list of all the plugins, hardware which has been connected, USBs. See what all the USBs which are being connected. Right now, I haven't connected any type of USBs here. Okay. In the same way, what is the vendor of this guy? The vendor is Google is the one who is the vendor for this Chrome browser. So like this, all extra information is available under the navigator object. Are we clear? Okay. Now what I'm saying is the same guy, if I copy this, I go to something called as Firefox. Okay, if I see, obviously the Firefox navigator object should be different. Yes, right? Now, when I inspect this, I go to console. Now, if I open this navigator object, you see app code name, anyway, it is going to be the same. But when I go with something called as build ID, this is fine. You see here, when I'm going to the user agent, user agent saying that Firefox, which version? 114. Whereas coming to the Chrome, user agent is, you see here, user agent, he is saying that Chrome 113. Got it? In the same way, what is the list of plugins he is having? You see the plugins, what he is having is, he is having some PDF viewer plugins only, not the Chromium. I think, yeah, these Chromium, these plugins which are been shared between them. Along this, there are almost like 6 plugins which are being installed in this guy. So like this, you should able to get the information, list of all the plugins which are installed in this browser, what version this guy is supporting. Every other information will be different according to the browser. Now, if I open the same guy in the Edge, so if I open this guy in the Edge browser, I go to console, I open this navigator object. Now, if you see here, user agent, you see here, it is saying Chrome, that is fine. So you see here, the Edge browser, what it is using is 113.so-and-so. So this is how you should able to separate between the which browser you are using. Now I want to use the same logic. As the navigator object is already telling me which browser you are using, I will simply say the navigator saying that if at all navigator dot match. Okay. If it is matching with inside your Chrome, I say something called as Chrome. I will say thanks for using this guy. Else I'm doing this. I mean, for now, I'm only checking for Chrome browser. Now, when I save this, I come to the Chrome browser. When I'm reloading this guy, match is not a function. Don't say that. Obviously, how can I say navigator dot match? Navigator dot user agent, right? I'm saying that under this user agent, if you have Chrome, then you need to do this. I say navigator dot user agent dot match. Now, once I reload this guy, is it not saying thanks for using the Chrome browser here? Yes, it is. Now I go to the Firefox. When I'm reloading the web page, is it is saying like, please switch to the Chrome browser for the faster experience? So without asking the end user, I could able to show the different pop-up. If it is a Chrome, show something else. If it is not Chrome, show something else. Could I able to do this? So this intelligence, we could able to add it if you have this navigator object, and not just only browser, operating system. Like people, how do they know that everyone is using this? I mean, these many people are using Chrome browser. These many people are using Firefox browser. These many people are using Windows operating system. These people are using the Linux operating system. How do I get to know this? This all information we never ask for the end user. We always get it from the navigator object. Without asking the end user, I should able to get it from the navigator object itself. Are we clear, guys? So this is a very good interview question. People will ask you, boss, how do you write a piece of code? And how do you make your application to get executed specific to the Windows machine, specific to the browser, specific to the operating system, specific to the external things? You see, whatever the things I'm working on, I'm not talking about objects, methods, DOM structure, nothing related to the web page. I'm talking about the browser specific or system specific here. Things can be done using your navigator object. Are we clear? Online students, are we good up to this? Mapping structure not done yesterday. Yes, yes, Chandrasekhar, we are still pending with the map data structure, right? Anyway, as I said, in the weekends, we'll be covering the ECMA 6, right? Not just only that, a lot of other things are also pending in your ECMA, which is your promise, async, await, map data structure. What else? SVG canvas are from HTML5. Okay, yeah, anyway, I'll be covering all those in the next ECMA class, whatever you have. Are we good up to this? You see the management, the logic, what we could able to, the intelligence, what we could able to do is, I'm not asking for the end user, but I could able to say him that he is not inside the Chrome. In the same way, I'm using the intelligence that I could able to understand that he is inside the Chrome. Okay, so a simple condition I have added on the top. If someone says that, boss, you check whether if the user is adding the plugin, if the user is added the earphones, he added the Bluetooth device, he added a pen drive, then show him this message. You can do this such type of things using the navigator object. And the next peak level support of your navigator object is geolocation. So what do you mean by this geolocation? Whenever you have this navigator object also supports this geolocation. So once you open this navigator object, you see here there is something called as geolocation. So what is the use of this geolocation? Using your navigator geolocation object, I should able to get the current user location without having any third party maps API. Repeating again, using your navigator object, I should able to get the current user login information. I mean, which latitude and longitude user is in without asking for any third party maps API. You know what I mean by latitude and longitude? In your very basic social way, you would have heard about this latitude and longitude. That is the physical unique address of anything in the universe. In the universe, anything you could able to say. I cannot say that, now what is your address? If someone from like a different country, he's saying that, boss, I want to meet you, Prasad, where I need to come. If I say that, boss, come to Hyderabad, Amirpet. Do you think Hyderabad is unique in your universe? No, there could be multiple Hyderabad. There could be multiple Amirpet. So he may go a different place. But if I give him the current latitude and longitude, 23.5 latitude, 21.6 longitude, that's it. He will be just beside me. So latitude and longitude are the unique what we call it as geographically points, coordinates, using which you can get the unique location. Even when you go to your maps, right? For example, I say maps.com, Google Maps.com. Now, when I go with this Google Maps, right? Okay, say for example, I want to go to something called where? Delhi. If I want to go with some Delhi railway station. Okay, if I say this Delhi railway station, you see in the maps, you should be able to see that, okay, this is the Delhi railway station you have. But if you see on the URL, this is the latitude and longitude you have. See, this is the latitude, comma, longitude values. If someone want to visit Delhi metro station, you know, instead of saying that, boss, you come to Delhi railway station, he may go and fall into Pakistan also, because there could be another Delhi over there. Okay, but now if I say him that, boss, this is the latitude and longitude, he will simply fall in India with the specific railway station. So anywhere you go, say for example, I would like to go with some Pune. Okay, Pune, Maharashtra. Now when I go here, see the latitude longitude is 18 point so and so. This is the latitude, longitude and latitude we have. So latitude and longitude, all the geographical coordinates, unique coordinates you can identify through any of the location. So now what your navigator object is doing is, using your geolocation, I could able to find out the current user address. Now I want to share my own address. Now say for example, you go for something called as Book My Show. For example, you're booking a movie ticket in my Book My Show. Whenever you open your Book My Show, have you ever seen that it automatically suggests you, it will only show you the list of all the theaters which are nearby your radius. Isn't it? It's not going to show you the list of all the theaters in the universe. They're going to show you the theaters which are nearby your radius. So how come they know that which location you are? Are they asking you? They will ask you that city, but on the top of the city, your current location, you're not going to share it. Then how come they could able to identify that which location you are from? They use this navigator object. Without asking the end user, I can find out the navigator object also. Say for example, I say navigator dot geolocation dot get current position. He is going to provide us a callback method, and this guy gets something called as some point. And if I see that point, console.log, what is the point I'm receiving here? I say point, save this guy, open this guy in the browser. You see, when I'm opening this guy within the browser, browser is warning me with a small pop-up. It is saying that knowing your location, this web page is trying to get your location. Browser is showing some alert because knowing your location is a private information, sensitive information, right? So without knowing to you, is web page is using. If that is the case, you simply say block it, don't allow it. Obviously, you cannot access it. But when I reload it, if I say allow it, now you go to the console. Do I got the geolocation coordinates? Under the point, you see something called as chords, and the latitude, longitude, what I have is 17 point so and so, and this point so and so. Now, if at all someone want to visit you, you know what you can do? Go to this guy. Okay, so here I'm going to give this coordinates. And I go for this coordinates. If someone want to visit Naresh IT, Amirpet, you simply give him. Now, once I click on this, you should be able to open. Here it is, Pune, Maharashtra itself. I say at the rate. So now when I give the coordinates here, am I reaching this Aster Prime Hospital, Naresh IT over here? Yes, it is. So I could able to find the user current location without even asking him. I never asked you that, boss, you tell me whether you are in Naresh IT or so and so. I'm not going to do this. I could able to automatically see here. This is the one which I have. Okay, this is where we could able to reach it. Are we clear? So without asking the end user, I could able to find out the current user logged in or current user place latitude, longitude without even having any third party maps API. I'm not using any maps API here, but still I could able to get the latitude, longitude of this. So this can be done using your navigator object. Now under this point, you can simply say console.log navigator, sorry, not navigator. I say point dot chords. Okay, coordinates. Now, once I reload this, see, it is asking that boss user is trying this. Okay, allow him. Now, when I open this guy, this is what the latitude and longitude accuracy is. So in so meters. Okay. So any questions? Magic sir happened now. Clear everyone? Offline. Everyone is so clear? Good. What's the next topic? Canvas and SVG. Other than that, okay, let us cover this canvas tag itself. It's a simple part. And Okay. So, why the reason we go with this canvas? The main reason why we go with this canvas tag is okay. So from your HTML5, the two new features which are being supported are canvas and SVG tags. What's the full form of SVG? Scalable vector graphics. Okay. So what is the use of these two tags? One is your canvas tag. This is how it is. I say canvas. Like this. In the same way, there is something called as SVG. SVG like this. So there are two predefined tags. One is the canvas tag and one is the SVG tag. So what is the use of this canvas tag and SVG? The main intention of these two tags is in order to draw the graphical objects within the web page. Okay, as simple as it is. If at all you want to draw any graphical objects, you simply go with the canvas and SVG. So what do you mean by this graphical objects? For example, I want to draw a square on the web page. Is it possible without canvas? Is it possible without canvas tag? Come on, can't I draw a square box in your web page? I can say div tag or any block level elements with some equally width and height. I can draw a square. Can I draw a rectangle? Obviously, yes. Can I draw a circle? Yes, by using radius. Anyway, we haven't discussed about the border radius. I'll talk about that in your CSS3, using which we can do. But now coming to the, if I want to draw a triangle, if I want to draw some like a polygon, if I want to draw something else, I mean, I want to draw a line, or I want to do something like this. I want to draw pictures. I want to draw some home picture. For example, I want to do this. This is my childhood image. Every time I used to draw this, and I used to feel like I'm a painter. Okay, so this is how we used to draw. Assume like this is the home which I want to draw. Do you think it is possible in your HTML, CSS? Not possible. So in order to do this, in the same way, say, for example, I want to draw some wave effect like this, background hills. Like this. So if I want to draw anything on the page, okay, not just restricted to the circles, rectangles, triangles and all, I want to draw anything on the web page. I want a flexibility, something like if I give a pen and on a chart, now you could able to draw anything on the paper or on the chart. Obviously, yes. So I want to get that type of flexibility that I could able to draw anything on it. That is where we will be going with something called canvas tag. So canvas tag and SVG tag are being provided so that you will get a flexibility that whatever you want to draw, you should be able to draw in the page. Okay, so let us see what are the things we can do. Now, when I say something called as canvas, so I say canvas is one of the semantic tag which is being supported in your HTML5. Now I say style, I say canvas tag, which is going to have some width of 600 pixel, 500 pixel. Okay, and let me put some border for this. Save this guy, open within the browser. This is how the canvas tag is getting created. This is how the space got created. Fine. Now on the top, I want to draw some pictures in it. So that is where first thing what we need to do is, first of all, let us give some ID for this guy. ID equal to my canvas. Okay. Now, say for example, I have a paper or I have a chart. Now I want to draw something on it. What is the first thing I needed? One thing is I have my imagination in my mind. Now I have to put this imagination on the paper. What I wanted. Do I need to have some marker or a pen or a pencil? This is the mediator through which I could able to draw something on the paper here. Yes. So anytime you want to draw on the canvas tag, you need to create something called as context object. Context is one of the predefined object which you need to create. Indirectly, context is equal to a pen or a pencil or a marker through which you could able to draw on the canvas tag. Okay, so how you're going to create the context here? I say where ctx is equal to document dot query selector hash my canvas dot get context which is your 2D. Right now HTML5 is providing to draw 2D objects here. Maybe in future we may be working with 3D objects also. For now we are going to have the 2D objects. Okay, now if I say console.log ctx, why it is coming as null? Get context. It should be get context. Get context 2D. That is fine. One second, let me see how it is working. Okay, so this is how I'm going to create a context object here. Okay, I'm saying that get an element who is having an ID called as my canvas. For that guy, you need to create a context object. Now this will become the pointer for us, which is indirectly equal to a pencil or a marker. Now, if you want to draw anything on this canvas tag, you say ctx dot draw the line, ctx dot draw the circle, ctx dot add the content. Anything you do, it has to be done through this ctx object. Okay, for example, you know, now JavaScript is coming with some predefined methods. See, what are the methods, what it is providing? Anytime you want to draw a line, these are the things what you need to do. Now, say, for example, this is a big chart. Now, if I have to draw a line from here to here, what I need to do? Do I need to move my pointer to here first of all? Yes, it is. The very first method what you have is move to. Move to is one of the predefined method, which is making your pointer to go into the particular 0, 0 coordinate. See here, I'm saying that what you need to start at 0, 0. From there, you need to draw a line up to 200 x-axis and 100 y-axis. Then the line will be drawn. The stroke in the sense, you fill the things. Now I save this guy. I come back and reload the page. See here from 0, 0, it is starting to the coordinates what you have given. On the top, now I say, boss, you need to start at something called as 30 and 60. Now, if you come back and reload the page, see from 30, 60, it is coming. There it is drawing the line here. Okay. Now, if at all I want to draw a picture home like this, now you know how do we do this? The only thing what you need to know is you need to know the coordinates. What is XY here? What is XY here? What is XY here? Isn't it? So you need to know the points here. What are the coordinates? These coordinates, if you know this, you should be able to draw it. In general, in our real time, anyone who is working on the canvas thing, they generally draw the thing under your graph paper. You know, graph paper in your academics, you would have seen the graph papers, right? On the graph paper, you say X, Y, axis, you say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to say. So when you want to draw something, you need to put on the graph paper. Now the same coordinates you added to the web page, it should be able to draw the lines or any objects for you. But in order to draw the things, it will be only using the CTX object and some predefined methods. Now, say, for example, this guy, I'm saying something called as 800. Now, when I come back and reload the page, now if you see here, do you see the line is coming out of the canvas container? Anytime you draw any graphical objects, things will only remain under the canvas tag. Graphical objects can be only added within the canvas tag. Outside of the canvas tag, you can't do that. Okay, it should be only done within the canvas. If the image is trying to come out of it, it will never come out. It will be only within the canvas tag only. Okay. On the top, like this, you have some predefined methods, guys. For example, this is the set of methods we have. If at all you want to draw any circle, you see here, these are the methods what I have. What I'm saying, okay, get context not needed. You see here, what I'm saying, context dot begin path, context dot arc is one of the predefined method, which is taking some n number of parameters, where I'm going to say what is xy coordinates, what is the radius, and there is some mathematical formula. You know that, right? Math dot pi, which is 22/7, some area calculation. Now, when I save this and when I come back and read all this, you should be able to draw a circle with any coordinates wherever you wanted. Am I clear? So if for everything you have a method, you just need to pass the parameters. That's it. In the universe, whoever want to draw the lines or circle, they follow the same method. Just you need to pass the coordinates. That's it. In the same way, for example, you want to draw a text here. I want to add some content. So what I'm going to do, I will say something like this. So what I want to say is, I want to set some font size, 30 pixel Arial. And what is the message I want to do? Fill text is a message, hello world, at x-axis 10, y-axis 50. Now, when I save it, come back and reload the page, this is how it is. So you could able to add content, you could able to draw pictures or objects, and you could able to do anything using your canvas tag. In the same way, there is another one, which is stroke text. Difference between the stroke text and the fill text. See, here I'm using fill text, here I'm using stroke text, right? Say, for example, it is 50 and 50. Now, when I reload the page, do you see the difference between that guy and this guy? You see the difference between that guy and this guy? This is the stroke text and this is fill. Sorry. Yeah, this is the stroke text and this is the fill text. Sorry, this is the fill text and that is the stroke text. Okay, stroke text in the sense, this is how it is completely filling it. Okay, otherwise it will be showing some empty so that you can add the colors, whatever you wanted. Okay, in the same way, there are other methods, which is linear gradient. Anyway, linear gradient I haven't discussed with you. Linear gradient is the one using which you can mix multiple colors and draw something, which we are going to cover in your CSS3. But for now, I'm just showing this. You can even add some linear gradients also. Gradient dot add colors. Okay, this is the one. Okay, now I'm going to draw a rectangle here with some so-and-so coordinates. Now, when I reload, you see multicolors is coming, white color and red color. So these type of things can be done using your gradients. Anyway, as I said, you gradients you forgot for now. I'm going to talk about the linear gradient, conic gradient, radial gradient. 3 types of different gradients are there in our CSS3. At that time, I'm going to talk about this. Okay, so everything, guys, the only thing what we have is we have some predefined methods. Use the methods, pass the coordinates, you should be able to see the things on your page. Everything can be done. I mean, if you know the coordinates, you can draw anything. It's almost like a pencil and paper. Now you have the coordinates, you tell that, okay, at this coordinate, what you have to do, at this coordinate, what you have to do, it will draw the things for you. Are we clear? Everyone? Okay, but one CTX, Roshan, CTX is the shortcut what I'm using. You see, CTX I'm saying, I may say something called as some Prasad also here. It's up to you, whatever you want to go with. Okay, just for reference, I'm going to give it a CTX, which is indirectly context. But it's up to you, whatever the name you wanted. The only reason why I'm giving is here you're using the method called as get context. Okay. Next, like this, the other tag what is being supported in your HTML5 is SVG. Full form of SVG? Scalable Vector Graphics. Now, what is the difference between Canvas and SVG? The similarity is either you go with the Canvas, either you go with the SVG. Both are used to draw the graphical objects. Same thing, whatever we have done in the Canvas, same thing we could able to do in the SVG tag also. Let me show you. Now I'm copying the same guy, creating same. Now, if you see, instead of Canvas, I say SVG, my SVG. Okay, I'm simply creating an SVG tag, open in the default browser. This is how the SVG tag is coming. Now, again, if at all I want to draw the circles, lines, graphs, anything you want, you can do the same in your SVG. Then what is the difference between this SVG and the canvas? The same thing can be done in canvas also. The only simple difference is, in case of your canvas, if I want to draw a line, I was using some predefined methods here. Whereas coming to the SVG, instead of predefined method, there are predefined tags. Now, if you see here, for example, if I want to draw a line here, this is rectangle, this is ellipsis. Where is line? So this is here. So now anytime I want to draw any line here, this is how I'm going to add. Okay, this is a predefined tag, which we call it as line tag, which is taking X1, Y1, X2, and Y2. I mean, from where I have to start, where I have to end. Where I'm starting is X1 and Y1, where I'm ending is X2 and Y2, and the style is stroke, which is your border color, and the stroke width is equal to border size. Now, if you ask me a question, can I say instead of the stroke and all, can I say border color and all? You cannot use your normal CSS properties for these guys. These guys have a different set of CSS properties. You can't say that background color, etc. No, those all CSS properties are for normal HTML elements. If the element is under SVG, they will be having a different CSS. And one more thing, okay, can I draw the line outside of this SVG? Try to see this guy here. Now, when I reload this guy, do you see the line is getting drawn? No. Anytime you want to draw any type of pictures, either for using the canvas or SVG, only within the SVG or canvas tag, you should be able to do that. Outside of it, these tags doesn't be useful. Those guys are not going to be worked there. Okay. So that is the only simple difference between the SVG and canvas, guys. Only difference is, in case of your canvas, you have predefined methods. Whereas in case of your SVG, predefined tags. Okay. Now, like this, you have, for example, if at all I have to go for the circle. Earlier, we are going with circle called with the arc as one of the predefined method. But now circle is one of the method, X coordinate, Y coordinate. What is the radius you want to go? What is the border color? And what is the border width? And what is the background? Now, if I save this and come back here and reload the page, this is how I could able to draw the circle. Okay. Now again, same coordinates you wanted, just use n number of tags. Like this, you have n number of tags. If at all you want to draw a rectangular, this is how it is. Okay. In the same way, you go with ellipsis. Ellipsis, you know, right? It is having two radius, x-axis, y-axis. X-axis radius and y-axis radius. That's you're going to mention. Save it and come back and reload. Ellipsis CX, CY. CX is there, CY is there, radius X is there, radius Y is there. What is this fill, man? Fill has to be, say, some green. This is how it is. Okay. In the same way, text, if at all you want to add the text here, you can simply say like this. Instead of SVG, I say, hello everyone. Reload it. This is how it is. So anytime you want to draw any type of pictures, either you can go with the SVG or go with the canvas. So just to add some extra information, guys, honestly, in my career, I never got a chance to work with this canvas and SVG. All right, not everyone will get a chance. I mean, people who work on the graphical part, they might be getting a chance, because not every web page will be asking for this canvas and SVG. Doesn't mean that you need to skip this topic. Okay, at least having a minimum idea. In the interview, if they ask you that what do you mean by canvas and SVG, you should be able to make it out. Are we clear, guys? Everyone? Online students? Okay, Rahul, how can we get the access points? That is what, Rahul, as I said you, in general, in our real time, you will be taking a chart. On the chart, you try to draw the sample picture. You see the x-axis, y-axis coordinates. The same thing will be plotted on the page. That is how generally people will follow. Okay. But again, no one can specifically, right now I'm just hard coding it, but in general, you will be giving the coordinates. Okay. These coordinates, you need to draw something like this. Okay. So let's pause it for today, guys. So we'll meet